Hi, my name is Annie Lobert with Annie's Pink Chair, and I'm a survivor champion from the adult entertainment industry. You're about to experience a chair, a conversation, and a change, because with God, all things are possible. Hi, friends, and it is such a joy to see you today. My name is Annie Lobert, and you're on Annie's Pink Chair. Oh, goodness, I have to take a breath. Now, can you just breathe with me? 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Okay, because we have such a story to finish. We're in part 2. If you did not listen to my really good friend, Tina Dixon, she's here in the studio with us. The first part of her story is fire. My friends, I forgot the time. It was so good. I looked at the clock and there were 7 seconds left. We need to finish her story, and then we need to get into what she's doing now, because we can't stay stuck in the past.
Right.
This girl's got too much to tell. Tina, go for it. So where were we at? We were in a bar somewhere.
We were in a bar somewhere. I had left the brothel.
Yep.
And my pimp brought me to work in his bar. And he used to go out and play cards, and he'd leave me behind the bar to control the bar.
You were
in charge.
You were a businesswoman way back then.
Right. I was in charge.
Were you still a teenager back then?
I was 17.
You were 17. My goodness.
So, one night, and so of course I was flirting with all the customers in the bar, and they had some guys that I was their favorite, and
you're always everyone's favorite.
Oh, that's so sweet. But really, it came down to who had the drugs, because at my whole story, I struggled with addiction.
Yeah.
And I looked for any way that I could to escape the pain of what was going on in my life, from my childhood all the way up into my teen years and my trafficking. So he put me to work in this bar. I met this customer. This customer had some drugs. So we're in the back room doing these drugs, injecting these drugs.
Oh, my goodness.
And he walks in on us.
What were you guys doing?
We were doing preluding. Remember those?
What is it called?
Preluding. It was like a pill.
I didn't inject ever. I just snorted.
So you probably
pills.
You probably wouldn't. It was a speed, though. It was a speed.
So it's like a form of speed.
It was a form of speed.
Yeah. But then you drink with it.
Pharmaceutical speed.
Yeah, but oh my goodness.
It was a pharmaceutical speed.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you come down off that? You'd have to drink, right?
Well, you just drink.
To calm yourself down?
To calm yourself down. So imagine this. So he walks in, and we're both high out of our mind.
You guys are like this. Whoa.
And so he pulls out his pistol. I thought he was going to kill both of us. I really, I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. I really thought he was going to kill both of us. And he started shooting at this guy's feet. And so the guy took off and knocked him down and ran around him and ran out the bar.
Did he actually hit him in the foot? You think?
I don't know. I don't remember. I know he was running, so he must have not been too hurt.
You must have been like.
And so I'm sitting there, and I'm really just kind of stuck.
Yeah,
I'm just stuck. And
were you shaking?
Gets up. I was a wreck. Well, he gets up, and he grabs a pool stick, and he beats me unconscious with this pool stick.
Oh my gosh!
So about 4 or 5 hours later, I wake up on the side of a 7-Eleven. He really must have thought I was dead, and he left me there.
You think he dumped you off somewhere?
Yeah, he absolutely dumped me off. So I got up, and I called my father, and I went. My father came and got me. I went in this hospital for a little while, but I was not ready to change at that point.
I totally get that.
I was not ready to change that point.
If no one understands this, being in a situation where you're addicted, but you're making money, and now maybe you don't have the pimp anymore, now you can get the money back that you
can get
taken.
the money, but you still need the drugs.
Yeah.
Your mind, is craving those drugs so bad. It's not even a physical, because speed is not really as much physically addicting as, say, an opiate is. but you're mentally addicted to that feeling, and you cannot think about anything else.
Yeah.
And so I spent the next, I went back out. I got some more drugs. I went to the bar where all these guys was. I got with another pimp for a little while. And then I ended up getting caught up again in something else. And I went back to my father. I went to the hospital, and I met this young Iranian guy who was going to college at LSU, and I got married. I just
goodness.
Just changed my life just like that. I got married. I had two children. I squared up, but I wasn't. But the thing that nobody realizes is when you come out of something like that, the trauma that I had endured made it totally impossible for me to be a mother.
Of course.
That's like, I just couldn't give my children what they deserved.
Yeah.
And, this is the worst part of my story because I left my children.
Yeah.
And I went back into lifestyle. I went through a series of pimps. I stayed strung out on drugs for probably another 15 years.
Yeah. This is not everyone's story, but this can happen, right, Tina?
Right.
Like it's
you get caught up in that lifestyle and you're addicted, and
I'm just so wondering how much of a miracle you are, because normally when someone's, and I might be one too, but normally you survive about 7 years. That's the average for anyone that's being sold in the sexual sense.
Well, and I almost didn't survive in the end of it. I don't know if you remember or not, but the end of my story is I was working truck stops. I was hitchhiking. My pimp had dropped me off at the truck stop. I was working the truck stop. I got some money. I had a cab bring me to the projects. I got some drugs. They sold me some bad drugs.
Oh, no.
And so when I realized they had sold me some bad drugs, I got some more drugs. And as I was walking out of this place, the guy said, I saw the guy that sold me the bad drugs. I said, hey, I want my money. You ripped me off. And he's like, white girl, you better get out of here. And I was like, no, I want my money. I want you ripped me off and I want my money back. And he said, I'm telling you one more time, white girl, you better get out of here. And of course, I couldn't, I like Chatty Cathy once again in the middle of hell, basically. And he shot me twice. And so, yes, I was laying on the ground. And to explain to you how powerful the drug is, I was laying on the ground. I had crack in my mouth. And the only thing that I could think of at that precise moment was, who's got a pipe? Because I want to do these last bit of drugs so that I can take myself out of this world that I had created for myself.
Wow.
And I did. And I ended up back in Louisiana. My father helped me get situated. I went to LSU. I went back to college. I went to a community college. And I started learning business, and I started trying to build my life back together again.
Wow.
And, and got married again. And
I mean, it just seems like you're really, and you're still trying to find, like the answer of what you're supposed to be doing in your life.
I searched for that answer for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I went to Destiny House. Yeah. I went to Destiny House.
And we met on the internet, didn't we? No. We just talked about it.
We met at the porn convention in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Because I was doing outreaches there and I met you.
What would happen to me is that I would get my stuff together and then I would go back out into that lifestyle.
And you told me that. You said, I'm struggling. I need to just stop all the way.
And I couldn't stop. I'd always, as soon as my bank account would be a little bit funny, or I wrote a hot check, I'd have to go cover the check, and I'd post an ad. Like back then, it was Backpage. There was places to post an ad. I'd post an ad, and then I'd be right back in that cycle again.
Yeah.
And I needed to get away. And
when you came though to Destiny House, how did you feel? Like, did it help you at least
I
calm
thought
down a little bit?
It was so beautiful there. Number one, the house was just so amazing. This big, beautiful house there's tennis courts and there's a pool and there's the waterfalls. It's just a tranquil environment.
Yeah.
That really, like, you automatically just calm your spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until you started telling me all the rules.
Oh, God. I know. You packed your bags a couple times. I was like, no,
Well,
Tina, don't go. Tina, no.
Well,
And you're like, I'm leaving today. And I was like, okay.
I was.
But you didn't, though.
I was like 50 years old. I was 49. I was 50 years old. And so
I'm not going to have this girl tell me what to do.
I had been doing things my way for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah. But you made it. You
I made it through
You
there.
graduated. And you actually were leading the other girls in the program.
And cooking for everybody.
Yes, and I saw a star in you already. Like, you were already queening it up. So we got to do a cheers to that. Congratulations, queen.
Congratulations,
Tina,
queen.
you came.
We're both queens, that's for sure.
So far. Like, I am so amazed. I don't want to say proud of, because I am, but I don't take any credit for nothing. I just didn't do anything. All I did is, man, I want to be this girl's friend. I want to be her friend.
You did. I remember that
I just loved you.
You endeared yourself to me.
Yeah.
And I wanted.
And Oz loved you too. He was like, that's why he had to come by. I got to say hi to Tina. So he's like, let's go. And I was like,
Destiny
okay,
House was the best thing that ever happened to me. And the best part about it was that I wasn't allowed on the computer for a whole year. And I would that was your sneak. And then when I finally was able to get a phone, I got the wrong kind of phone and I had it hidden. And I was not a good girl.
Yeah, but you still made it.
But I graduated.
Yeah.
I did graduate. And
the girls use the computer the first couple months now. So it's changed a lot. But that's because there's school involved and everything. But yeah, if girls don't want us to let them use it, we won't. We'll abide by their request too.
Well, God needed that for me.
Well, structure is good for the brain when you're in trauma.
Yes.
It really is.
And then I had time on my hands.
And you made friends there, and you really added to the program. You really made the program better, Tina. Aww. And I learned so much from you. You taught me to be a better leader. You taught me to be a better friend. You taught me how to respect and love survivors better. How to humble myself, So I learned from you.
And I learned so much. You know what you taught me?
What?
You taught me that it was okay. So I always had this problem of being very hyper and high strung. And people made me think that there was something wrong with me because of that. And you demonstrated to me that you can get so much joy, but you can also get so much success from a personality like the personality that I had.
Yeah. And you still have that.
I do. Actually, I do 100%.
So what happened next? Because you know what? There's always bumps in the road. We don't need to talk about bumps. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about the success. Let's talk about what you're doing now. I remember when you called me that day, you were like, Annie, I'm buying my house. I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, are you serious? You're like, yeah, girl.
I did. I bought
and it's got my colors in it, like my aqua blues. And I'm like,
teals and everything.
Your teals.
It was so crazy. At 58 years old, I bought my first home. Yeah. Shortly, 2 years before that, I was able to open up my own advertising agency. One of my clients, COVID, the bottom fell out of the travel industry.
Yeah.
And so one of my clients came to me and he said, let's start our own network. Now, 4 years later, Ring Lab Media, we do probably a little over $1 million.
Wow.
I'm sorry, $100,000. I always had an extra zero.
You know what?
That's that embellishment
Let's just
thing.
make it $1 million. Let's make it $1 million. Well, anyway,
right.
They understand.
We are multi. Last year we did $2.5 million in revenue.
Wow.
So we're definitely a successful company.
Wow.
And from that company, I developed an organization.
Go ahead. Talk about that.
So from that company,
Let's
I developed an organization.
Because I have that list. Hold on. You have Queens
of digital marketing.
Yep. Queens Arise.
The Queens Arise program.
And then Queens Calls.
Right. Mm-hmm. There's 3 tiers of our program. Yeah. So how this happened was I was in the advertising industry,
Yeah.
and it was very male dominated.
Yes.
And
Isn't
women
it
were
kind of still, or is
it's
it
a
you're
lot
changing it?
better. I'm in a couple of other women's organizations. One of my dear friends, Amanda and Sarah, opened up another organization called Link Unite. But Queens of Digital Marketing was started as a networking organization for professional women to give them an opportunity to network with one another.
Yeah, that's great.
So, as being a survivor of human trafficking, I wanted to give back to advocacy, and I wanted to give back to the survivors.
Because you're successful. Why wouldn't you want to give that away?
Exactly.
You know, how are we going to teach ladies how to be successful and not go back to an industry that is so tempting?
Yes.
Because the internet is the devil sometimes. I mean, and it's the angel too at the same time, because you can do so much good on the internet, but you can be so bad too.
So I knew that someone had came along for me, and they had taught me this business. They had taken me under their wing. They mentored me and taught me
Where's that person
lead
today?
generation. Kevin, he's still in business.
Oh,
I saw him just a few days ago at the conference.
Give me a big hug. Thank you, Kevin.
Yes, I do.
I love you, brother.
I always update him on everything that's going so good, and he just beams and so happy for me.
Yeah, he's so happy that he helped you.
But I wanted to do the same thing for other women that were in that space.
Right. And we're going to be working together, because you're going to be offering that to our women too.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm so excited about that.
What happened from there was that we created the Queens Arise program.
Mm-hmm.
Queens Arise is a training program in digital marketing where we set the women up with a mentor from our program, and we have a curriculum that they work on, either towards media buying, web design, and graphics.
And they can do it over the computer if they want.
And they can do it
remotely. They don't have to be in the office, right?
Or they can do our telecommunications track, which covers it, which is Queens
I'm going to sign up for
calls.
this thing. I need to learn how to do a website.
And Queens Calls is our newest project. We are an employment. Queens Calls. I opened up a third business, Queens Calls.
That's okay. You can open up 100. I'll be like, go for it, girl.
It's employment social enterprise. And what we do is we offer survivors an opportunity to learn how to be call center agents and do telecommunication and inside sales.
Wow.
And then I use the contacts that I've created in the advertising industry, and I contract these young ladies out to work on lead generation campaigns.
Okay.
Right now, we're currently training travel agents. We have two girls that just completed the travel agency program.
Wow.
And they'll go to work as an online travel agent.
Yeah. And that's so needed.
And they'll be able to make commission and all of that. It just kind of and it was crazy how it transitioned, because I didn't really intend to have that. If you remember a long time ago, I said, I'm going to open up a house. I want to have a house.
Oh, you did say that for a minute.
Right, I did. I wanted to say a house. And then I just kind of put that to the side, because I don't really have the patience one-on-one like you do.
No, but you have different types of gifts, Tina.
That's exactly right.
And so you got to go where you're strongest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about my patience, by the way. Girl. My gift is more this thing. This is kind of my gift where I'm at right now. But I have other people. I have other people that do that kindness thing for me.
Yeah, you have to. And so out of nowhere, this guy had these mastermind classes that he was teaching digital marketing. And he gave me 5 scholarships.
Oh,
and he said, I want you to just go out and find some survivors that want to do media buying.
Right.
And so we started looking for them. I started, going to all the advocacy organizations.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we got our 5 girls. We started them. I had to build a curriculum because his curriculum was a little advanced.
Yeah.
So I had to
Something they can
find some beginning stuff.
Yeah.
And we started those 5 girls. Those 5 girls, 3 of them are currently working in the industry.
Wow.
And then they were working in the industry. Then we had another class. We had another class of about 5 girls. I think we currently have 9 girls enrolled in Queens.
Wow.
We've had 16 girls go through our program, and 5 of them are working now.
Yeah.
And
that's
three of them
really
are
good.
getting ready to go to work. They're waiting for their interviews. The interviews are next week for the travel agency jobs.
And that's really exciting because look, even if it would just be one, yes, you never stop. Because now it's going to be more. This is I feel like God's saying this is going to grow more than you even understand. Okay, and God is going to just blow it up, Tina.
God has done all of this.
Talk
There's
about
no
that.
way that this would have happened.
When we got 5 minutes.
When I look back at my life, and here I am, 50 years old, in and out of sober livings. I was in 17 rehabs throughout the course of my life. I remember
18. We were number 18.
Yeah, you were number 18.
You made it.
And so through all that, to come to the point where I'm at now, I not only own one house, I just bought my second house. It's the house on the bayou that I always dreamed about. Yeah. Remember when I used to tell you I want a house on the bayou?
Yes.
I bought this little house on the bayou. I bought a boat because, of course, you got to have a boat on the bayou,
you right? Go fishing or croc hunting the alligator hunting. Yeah.
And I've been blessed beyond what I could ever imagine.
So good.
But it was God that gave it all to me. He said, I see you. Yeah. I love you. And I want to show you that you are my queen. That you are a queen. And I'm going to give you a life that you never expected. Annie, I thought, you talk about how people stay in addiction for so long. I go on some outreaches with my church, sometimes Healing Place Church in Baton Rouge. And we go to these homeless outreaches, and I see women that are my age that are just, it's just so horrific to see these older women and to know that God picked me out. Yeah. And he said, I'm going to give you everything beyond your wildest dreams. We all know times are crazy right now. There's not much chance of political.
I want you to look at that camera.
We all know that times are crazy right now, and there's not much chance of getting grants. It's really hard to get a grant right now. But God blessed me in a way that I could fund this organization. 60%, 75% of those funds that operates Queens comes from the income that I earn as an owner of an advertising agency. God did that.
And God gave me whoever's watching.
It's true. God can do it all.
They're watching right now and they're wondering how.
If you think that you're too far gone and that you can't go forward, there's always hope. There's always hope. Yes. All you have to do is ask God to come into your life. Yes. Just like I did in Destiny House. I'll never forget worshiping God at the fountain at Destiny House. That early foundation laid the groundwork to where I'm at today because God saw my devotion to him. He knew that I could handle it, and he knew that he could trust me to take care of his kids. And that's what I do today.
And that's what you're doing right now. And tell them how they can get a hold of you, Tina, and donate to you, help expand Queens.
Yes, we're at the point right now that we really need to expand. We need to hire. I have an education director, but I need instructors now because we've grown through these 16 girls, and now I need people to record these classes so that these young ladies can get a solid education, a university level quality of an education. And so we need donors right now, monthly donors, one-time donors. It's queensdm.org. That's QUEENSDM.org. Or you can email me at tina@queensofdigitalmarketing.org or tina@queensdm.org. We kind of shortened it, so that's why I have two email addresses.
You know what? You did make a house, Tina.
I did.
You did.
I made a house.
You did. Because it's a business house.
Yes.
And they come to work for you. Yes. And you bless them. You bless them.
Yes.
They come in, they work, they earn a living, and they feel better about themselves. You're creating.
They create a new life for themselves through financial empowerment.
And they're looking at you going, if she can do it,
Yes.
I can do it. And I pray that you find older women too.
You know, it is a lot of older women that come because they get to a point where they can't really get, after a certain age, you can't get into a program.
Yeah.
And so they've been working and plugging along life just like I had with all this trauma stored up.
Yeah.
And that's another thing.
And they're holding it in.
We need donations for counseling.
Yeah.
I can't afford counseling charges.
Yeah.
I need sponsors, people to come and sponsor.
You guys listen to Tina
for the trauma that these women's experience.
Would you do that today? I want you to look at, and I want Tina, whatever you just said about your website, I want you, my friends, this is my friend. And I want you to help her, because when you help her, you help us. You help everyone. She's an extension of us. Look what she did. She became an entrepreneur, a business owner, many businesses, house, another house, a boat. But not only that, she's got lives in her hand that she's helping lift up so they can create more Tinas, more Annies and more everybody.
Yes, Lord.
Right?
Yes,
Lord, bring
Lord.
more.
Amen.
So I just pray right now, Lord, we just pray for Tina and Digital Queens, Call Queens. What's the other one, Tina?
Queens Calls.
And Queens Calls. And I just thank you, Lord, that you're going to bring in what she needs for counseling, for trainers, for videographers to get this done in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
And what is the website one more time?
QueensDM.org.
QueensDM.org. QueensDM.org. You see it on the screen. And if you're listening on pod, QueensDM.org. You can get a hold of Tina, email her, call her. You guys, thank you so much for listening to this beautiful story of such an amazing warrior success. You can't beat your story, Tina.
Thank you.
And I love you.
It's only because of Jesus.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning, girl. Come on. For real. I love you.
I love you too.
My friends, this is why we do what we do. This is why she does what she does. She's standing on her own. I'm not even doing anything to her. I'm not trying to make her do it. This is her. Look what God did. And he can do it for you too. You just got to trust him and believe.
Amen.
And I just want to thank you so much for coming on.
You know what? I'm so honored to be able to come on and do this with you.
The show.
The chair.
Finally got to be here. We'll see you next time. My name is Annie Lobert, and you've just experienced Annie's Pink Chair. Bye. Hi, friends. My name is Annie Lobert. And this is television. This is podcasting. We are doing this solely for the purpose of keeping our safe house going and our 20 plus employees to help our survivors that were once victims of trafficking. We cannot shut down. And one of the avenues to help us is using social media, TV as part of our fundraising. We are looking for monthly partners just like you. It's not free to do this. I think you know that. So any help is so appreciated. God bless you.